Hello dear students of class 10th, welcome to economics class. I hope all of you are fit and healthy. Students, in this video, I shall be continuing with the 4th chapter from your economics book, that is Globalization and the Indian Economy. Students, in the last video, I explained you about the negative impacts of globalization in India. I explained you that topic with the help of two hypothetical stories. First, the story of Ravi, and the second, the story of Sushila. And we concluded that globalization is not fair for everybody. Definitely it has advantages, it has benefited a large number of people, but when it comes to small producers and workers, they are not benefited from globalization. In fact, they had faced a lot of problems because of globalization. Alright. Then I explained you about special economic zones. Special economic zones are the zones, they are the areas that are created by the government, and those areas are having world class facility. For example, road, transportation, storage and several kinds of facilities are there in those areas. And those zones are basically created by the government in order to attract foreign investment, because if facilities will be provided, if world class facilities will be provided, then only the foreign companies will be attracted to invest in our country. So I hope till there points are clear to everybody. Now students, we will be moving to the last topic of this chapter, that is the struggle for a fair globalization. Now what is this struggle about? Why to struggle? First of all, the struggle is there because maybe the struggle is there because maybe globalization is not fair. What do you understand by fair globalization? Fair globalization means justified globalization. It is justified. Is it justified? Why is the struggle? Why are the people struggling for a justified globalization? We have seen the advantages of globalization as well as the disadvantages or the challenges of globalization. So what can be done to ensure a fairer globalization so that everybody gets an equal opportunity to grow, to expand? How can we ensure a fair globalization? So this is the topic all about. See students, not everybody has equally benefited from globalization. This term is very true because I have already given you the explanation with regard to big businessmen and the small producers and workers. See, when it comes to big businessmen or big companies, then they have earned a lot of profit because of globalization. They have got a platform, they have got an opportunity to expand, to grow. Why? Because the people with education, the people with skill and wealth, they have benefited a lot. Alright. But when it comes to small producers and workers, then they have hardly benefited from globalization. They have faced a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and even because of globalization, many workers, many producers are left unemployed. Their factories are shut down. They are facing very strict competition from the global world, because of which they are not able to compete. So that is why it can be said that globalization is not fair for everybody. Some of them are able to grab the opportunity, but some of them are not able to stand in that market. They are not able to face the competition, because of which they are failing, they have failed. Alright. So students, what is fair globalization? How fair globalization can be ensured? See, fair globalization means equal opportunities for all, and benefits of globalization should be shared in a better manner. That is called fair globalization. Now I have used that equal opportunities for all. See, definitely the big companies, they are getting opportunities. But when it comes to small companies, small producers, are they given the same opportunity? If not the same, to that extent, are they given that opportunity? No, they are not given that opportunity. So, fair globalization can take place only if equal opportunities are given to every player that is there in the market. Every player means every company, every producer, whosoever is engaged in the market. Then globalization can be called as fair. Then I told you that benefits of globalization should be shared in a better way. How can the benefits of globalization be shared in a better way? See, if I talk about the big companies, in those big companies, small workers are also there, the workers, the laborers, everybody is there in that company. But that company is in profit. So, is that company sharing that profit margin with everybody, with all the people who are employed? Is it doing so? So, that is called benefits of globalization should be shared in a better way. If that company is profitable, if it is earning profit, then it should share its profit ratio with everybody whosoever is there in that company, because of those people only the company has gained that position. It is in a position to gain profit. So, equal opportunities should be there for all, and the benefits of globalization should be offered or shared to everybody. Then it can be called as a fair, globalization. Understood? If these 2 points are there, then it is fair, and if these 2 points are not there, then it is unfair. Alright. So, I hope you understood this concept of fair globalization. Now, students, the question is how to make globalization more fair. I have explained you that what is globalization, what is fair globalization. Now, what are the steps that can be taken to make globalization more fair? See, this type of question can be asked in the examination also, that what steps can be taken or how to make globalization more fair. See, a number of steps can be taken to make globalization more fair. First of all, government, when it comes to government, then government plays a very important role in this. Now, how the government plays an important role? See, first of all, the government can implement the labor laws properly. That means proper implementation of labor laws, so that the interest of the laborers can be protected, the interest of the workers can be protected. The workers should get their rights. I told you that in SEZ, special economic zones, flexibility of labor laws is there, but that should not be there, because if flexibility in labor laws should be there, it will be there. I am saying again, I told you that in SEZ, special economic zones, flexibility in labor laws are there, but see, when it comes to fair globalization, then that should not be there, because if flexibility will be there, then the workers, the laborers, they will be deprived of their rights. They will not get their fair wage, their fair amount for their hard work. The producers, the businessmen, they will definitely try to cut down their price, they will try to reduce the price. So, the government should make proper implementations of the labor laws, so that the interest, so that the rights of the laborers and the workers can be protected in an efficient manner, in a better manner, alright, and they can be in a better position than they are currently. Okay. So, this is the first way. Secondly, by supporting small producers to improve their performance till they become strong enough to compete. See, definitely foreign investment is required, foreign trade is essential for the economy to grow, but at the same time, supporting the local players, supporting the local producers is also very important, because if the government will not support the local producers, their condition will deteriorate, they will come down, they will not be able to live properly with dignity, because they will not be able to face competition. If liberalization will be there, if complete liberalization will there, then what will happen? The local producers, they will suffer, the domestic producers, they will suffer. As in the case of Ravi, I told you, that because of liberalization his company was adversely affected, and also Sushila, that factory was adversely affected, that garment factory, and as a result of which the garment factory had to shut down. So the government needs to see that definitely foreign investment is important, but it should see that the local producers that are there in the country, they become strong enough to compete, and then only the government should liberalize. Like soon after independence, the government was very strict, liberalization was not there, as a result of which the domestic producers were able to stand well. But as soon as the company was hit by liberalization, the local producers, it was very difficult for the local producers to stand in the market. All right. Now let us see the third point, the third way how the government can support. See, the government can support by using trade barriers and investment barriers. Now see, this third point is related to the second point. In the second point I told you that the government had used in the second point I told you that the government has to be supportive, it has to support the small producers. Now how can a government support the small producers or the domestic producers? By using trade barriers, by imposing tax, heavy tax on imports. This way the government can support and help the domestic producers by using investment barriers. Now what are investment barriers? There should be, see, investment barriers. Investment barriers means that there should be a restriction on how much they will invest. They cannot invest everything. They will not take 100% of the share. There has to be a restriction that has to be imposed. So by using trade barriers and investment barriers, the government can help the domestic producers to expand and grow. All right. Next point. The next point is government can negotiate at WTO for fairer rules. See, as I explained you that that WTO is more inclined, it is more supporting the developed countries as compared to the developing countries. So the government of the country has to negotiate at WTO for making the rules fairer, so that the people, the producers who are there in the country, they can stand firmly against the producers, against the companies that are from outside India. All right. So it has to stand firmly. So the government needs to negotiate these points. Next point. See, developing countries, they can form groups in order to fight against the domination of developed countries in the WTO. See, definitely government will do everything, but people also have to take steps. They also have to stand in order to protect their rights, in order to protect their interests. So the developed countries, they can form groups, they can form associations to fight against the domination. See, the developed countries, they are dominating the developing countries, right? So by forming groups, by forming associations, we can put pressure on WTO in order to make the rules more fairer. All right. Now let us see the last point. The last point is people can also play an important role. Now how people can play an important role? They can play important role by forming groups, by forming campaigns, they can do protests, they can do representations, they can act as representatives of several organizations or several associations, they can form their own association in order to oppose the domination from the developed countries. So not only the government, but the people also have to play a very important role. So together with the government, the people also have to play a very important role in order to fight against their rights. So this way only a fairer globalization can take place. So I hope till here points are clear to everybody. So students, we have come to the end of this chapter. I have explained every topic that is given in this chapter, and very quickly we will just summarize the chapter. We will revise very quickly whatever we have studied till now. So first of all, I explained you about MNC, the role of MNCs in inducing production across countries. Now what is MNC? MNC, now what are MNCs? MNCs are companies that own and control production of goods and services in more than one countries. So such type of companies are called as MNCs. Then I explained you the ways through which MNCs set up their production units in different countries. So I basically explained you that there are three ways by which MNCs set up their production units. First is by doing partnership, that means by collaborating, as I gave you the example of Ford and Mahindra. So Ford collaborated, it did partnership with Mahindra and set up its manufacturing unit in our country. Then the second way is, they buy the local companies. So this is the second way of setting up their units in our country. And the third way is by placing orders. So they place large orders to the producers and the suppliers, and from there, once their order is complete, they are paid for that. Alright, so these are the three ways by which MNCs set up their production units in different countries. Then I explained you about the advantages of foreign trade. Now what is foreign trade? Foreign trade is the trade that takes place between two countries. So that is called as foreign trade. Alright. So I explained you a number of advantages of foreign trade. Advantages to producers as well as to consumers. The producers get access to variety of markets, they get access to multiple markets, and if I talk about the consumers, then they get variety to choose from, they are offered variety, because of which competition is increased. If competition will increase, what will happen? There will be more pressure on the producers, so they will improve their quality and reduce their cost. So ultimately the consumers are benefited from globalization. Then I explained you about the factors that have enabled globalization. I explained you what is globalization. Globalization is basically integration and interconnection between countries. So that is called as globalization. So basically there are two factors that are responsible or that have enabled globalization. First is technology and the second is liberalization. When it comes to technology, then I explained you the two perspectives of technology. First is the transport technology and second is the IT sector, information and communication technology. How technology and liberalization have enabled globalization. Now what is liberalization? Liberalization means removing restrictions or barriers set by the government. That is called as liberalization. That means being more liberal. That is liberalization. Then I explained you about WTO, World Trade Organization. It is an international body that aims to make laws, rules and regulations for foreign trade. And I also explained you the debate that the debate on trade practices on foreign trade, that it is said or it is debated that foreign trade is more inclined towards developed countries rather than the developing countries. Then I explained you the impact of globalization, the positive impact and the negative impact to consumers as well as to producers. Then I explained you about special economic zones. These are the zones, these are the areas that are created by the government having world class facilities in order to attract foreign investment. And lastly, I explained you about the struggle for fair globalization. What is fair globalization and what are the steps that can be taken to ensure fair globalization. So I hope all the points, all the topics that are there in this chapter are clear to everybody. I hope that I am able to explain and convey the points to everybody who is watching this video. So students, thank you so much for watching this video. I will be explaining the question answers that are given at the end of the chapter, and along with that a few other questions that are inside the chapter in the next video. Till then, thank you so much. Stay safe and stay connected.